Good afternoon. I hope you can hear me. Good afternoon. Welcome to the webinar on strategic approaches for securing research grants, organized by the Research Division of the National Science Foundation. Uh, uh, we are organizing this workshop webinar, especially targeting the competitive research grants call that is open now and which will be closed on 14th of February. And we have four presentations lined up for this webinar. And to start the program, I would like to invite the Director General of the National Science Foundation, Dr. Sepalika Sudasinghe, to present on transdisciplinary approaches to enhance research impact. Over to you, Madam. There is a small technical difficulty we are encountering. I hope you can bear with us for just a few minutes.
that
Right, okay, now it works. Right. Hope you can hear me, Dr. Inoka.
yes, madam, we can hear you.
Right. So there is echo sound. I think you'll have to mute it. So sorry for the late. Good afternoon, everyone. So it's a pleasure to see how many, let's see, 89 participants in this webinar. So I'm sure with this, you'll be able to submit us the winning proposals. We are expecting a lot and hope we can facilitate for, the most of you with your, let's say, the winning proposals. So let me start. And first of all, I'm glad to meet you today. I don't see your camera, the faces, but that's all right. And we, NSF, being the nation's premier research, facilitating, supporting, funding organization, we try our best to strengthen our R&D ecosystem of the country with an idea and expectation that our researchers will support our country towards, in ensuring the development of this nation. So, so this is a brief presentation and with, let's say, not more than 8 slides, but let me brief what we expect from you from your winning, the research proposals. As you are aware, we are in a turbulent environment, but the government has decided to support us, support you, support the people and the citizens of this country. So we know that it's a challenge for all of us because in this country, the poverty rates are really high. And it is to my understanding, the highest. So if I tell you, it's like more than 25% of the people lives below the poverty line. So in that sense, we have a responsibility. In that sense, we are responsive and responsible to the country being a government funding, research funding organization. So we believe that therefore we need strong interventions and strong strategies to develop our country. So in economics, we believe that development in science and technology, it's the key, one of the main determinants of the economic growth and development. So that's why that may be the reason the government has, to decide to support the researchers, to strengthen the researcher and the research base and specifically the research ecosystem, R&D ecosystem in this country. And we're sure that we believe that our research and the researcher base is strong enough for us to support and also to bring good research findings. Okay. Then let me move on to the next slide. So this is just a picture, right? You may, this is mine actually. This actually NSF, we have introduced several, the grant schemes, including new 2024 and 2025, to strengthen the growth and development of the country, specifically to strengthen the government vision for the science and technology sector. Because we believe that for developing countries like Sri Lanka, in particular, supporting innovation potential will clearly facilitate the transition to a state of, the state of a balanced economy, and beyond that, to bring about continuous development with a stable growth ratio. So we expect from our experts to be responsive to the need and the expectations of our people. Actually, these photographs really tell us, it explains where we are at the moment. So you can see the rich and the poor gap in this country. That really depicts the role of our decision makers, researchers in this country, and how well they can facilitate for the decision making process, specifically the policy making process at different levels, right? So I believe it's our responsibility to, the address to this situation. So in that sense, let me again draw your attention to another specific area. Actually, the society and citizens face numerous challenges. These problems and challenges are often multifaceted. So we say it's wicked problems. And if we are to find solutions, we require holistic approaches because of the nature of the problems that we have, the challenges that we are facing at the moment. So as the citizens of this country, and we have to have strategies to deal with current challenges. We trust that only a single approach cannot facilitate these type of wicked problems that we encounter, we see in the society as a nation. So therefore, we need holistic, interconnected approaches in ensuring the well-being of the people. So in the middle, we have to have strong group of people in the middle, and also as societal challenges continue to grow, the researchers, the technologists, and industrialists have a significant role to play as experts in this system. So particularly in finding social and technological solutions in addressing to the wicked problems and to ensure well-being for all at all ages. So this is the place where the role of the researchers, and that's why we expect from you the winning proposals. That's what we expect from you in submitting, drafting, designing your proposals to look into these responsibilities. And at the same time, let me show you another figure, right? So this I took from one of the recent publications. Actually, the graph of this interconnected nature of problems clearly highlight the type of research approaches that we have to look into in addressing two problems. Though this is global, but I'm sure that you are reading this figure, and when it's come to the local context also, the story the same. So we want you to think of this interconnected nature of the problems that we have at the moment and what we are experiencing today. So therefore, the researchers and the associated workforce in the science and technology sector, we have a significant role to play because impactful scientific research and development is critical in decision making, as it provides decision makers the scientific evidence-based solutions to decide what to do and what not to do. So therefore, this is also one of the points that I would like to draw your attention in drafting, designing your proposals. At the same time, let me again draw your attention to another area. When we look into the different approaches and the techniques and the methodologies that you define in your research proposals, to consider this interconnected nature of problems. And we suggest that diverse research approaches to select and to consider, not only for this particular open grant scheme, and we will be opening some more grant schemes during the month of February and March. So, I mean, I'm sure that you are not specifically targeting only competitive research grant scheme, but the other grant schemes that will be opened in future as well, to look into the approaches and to techniques and the tools that can widely approach to the expected outputs and outcomes of your research proposal. So therefore, we need to look into the maybe the community-based approaches where we can ensure the innovations in the science and technology sector and ensure the participation of the stakeholders for the benefit of the community by the end of the day. That is what we expect from our interventions. By the end of the day, it's the well-being of citizens. It's the happiness of the citizens. It's the comfort of the citizens. So for that, I'm sure your proposals will be targeting to this much, and you will be broad-minded to design your research proposals. So these publications, and I'm not going to talk about the findings of these and the suggestions and the recommendations and up-to-date information of these publications. But these publications provide us the clear picture of the role and the responsibility of the researchers, specifically in the developing countries, in ensuring the well-being of the people. So again, actually, let me move on to the next point. Since the National Science Foundation is devoted to crystallizing and dissemination of evidence-based policy recommendations towards fostering science, technology, and innovation, we really understand the significance the researchers play. Actually, because of that, accordingly, the NSF recognizes the critical role that participatory, interactive, transdisciplinary, trans-academic, collaborative, and community-based approaches could play in shaping effective recommendations, cross-cutting all the sciences together to generate impactful and effective policies for recovery and inclusive development. So actually, that's one of our concerns. So you may say it's very difficult to consider all these research approaches. Fine, that's true. It doesn't mean that we have to ensure all these approaches from one research project. So if you can only, right? So, consider transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary, participatory approaches so that you can read the pulse of the people, and it will, by the end of the day, easily reach to the community, and on top of that, the decision makers to make decisions effectively to understand and to facilitate the need and the request of the society, but ultimately the well-being of the people. So consider this also when you draft your research proposals. In ensuring the participation of all relevant stakeholders, actually, for co-creation of knowledge for better research findings is not that easy. We understand ensuring the participation of all the relevant stakeholders, not that easy. But that really facilitate, though it's a challenges for most of the researchers always. Because to achieve inclusivity, you have to respect, identify, recognize the others. So in that sense, I think the EDI aspects, inclusivity and the diversity and but basically, the recognition of the other parties may be academically, socially, economically. So that really, really strengthen your research proposals. And actually, that really help us in drafting research proposals and research projects, let me say in brief, to set our objectives that are more closer to the needs of the society. So this inclusivity involves aligning diverse interests and the priorities and ensure that all voices are heard and valued throughout planning, implementation, and monitoring stages. We believe as NSF that these approaches ensure that the research remains relevant, actually relevant to the community and increase the livelihood of the findings being adopted. So this is what we really expect, not from all research. So NSF, as you are aware, from applied research to basic research, we really facilitate. But at the moment, most of our research funding, we are interested in locating for more applied research, but we pretty well understand all research findings and the doable, workable, applicable research findings start from the basic research. So therefore, but anyway, we request all of you to consider these participatory interdisciplinary approaches as methodologies of your research projects, because we need research findings and your recommendations which are closer to the society and immediately to use these findings to make recommendations to decision makers to make decisions, policy decisions to address to the burning issues of the society. So for that, we have identified and introduced several programs like research into practice programs, where we'll be sending and sharing these findings directly with the relevant policy makers, decision makers in this country. So that's one of our expectations from your research proposals, because we as a public organization, and we want to ensure the value for money, and we want to ensure that your tax money is at work, tax rupees at work. So that's why this year, actually this is last year, we introduced this lab to market model from NSF. And we promote fostering partnerships across science, technology, social sciences, and beyond, and even beyond that, to ensure the well-being of the people. So therefore, I don't think it's that difficult for you to bring and to innovative solutions that really can apply immediately. And these recommendations will be in a position to share with the relevant decision makers directly to make policy decisions. So we trust that embracing this collaborative spirit is crucial for building a better future where research truly reflects and responds to the needs of the society. So therefore, in conclusion, let me expect and cordially invite you to submit research proposals within this framework and to support us, because it has to be a kind of a win-win situation. We'll be using public funds. And so therefore, to immediately get your recommendations and to share these recommendations with the policymakers as much as we can to make decisions at macro level. So with that brief note, wishing you all the best, and we expect from you very good research projects and winning proposals. With that brief note, let me wind up. All the best. Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Inoka.
Thank you very much, Madam. Now let us move on to the second presentation. That is securing competitive research grants, strategies and tips. And the presentation, I will do the presentation. As you know, the National Science Foundation is a national institution which disburses public funds. Therefore, accountability, transparency, and fairness in all our activities is essential. So we strive to, and as Madam also mentioned, we try to achieve a greater impact with the limited funding that we have. Right. I hope you can see my screen. I'm Inoka Sandanayaka, so I will do this presentation. So first of all, now as I mentioned earlier, we are targeting the competitive research grant scheme that is currently open. This grant scheme provides assistance to supplement resources available in your own institutions for RDI activities directed towards socio-economic development of the country, as our Director General mentioned. We encourage the researchers to utilize your knowledge to carry out research of high quality, and we award grants in all fields of sciences, including the social sciences. Now, if we talk about who is eligible to apply, it has to be Sri Lankan citizens residing in Sri Lanka, and you are required to register with the STMIS database of the NSF. You can do that by visiting our website. And also the principal investigator needs to be a permanent employee of a university or a research institution. Also, private organizations can apply if they are permanent employees of such, but then the funding, there's a limitation of funding where NSF will provide up to 70% of the total budget only. The private organization needs to come up with 30% of the total budget. And the principal investigator applying has to have a postgraduate research degree, that's a PhD or an MPhil, and publications or patent in the relevant area. However, those who wish to read for postgraduate degrees under this proposed project cannot be principal investigators or co-investigators. They will only be research students in the current project. Now, before filling the grant application, you have to find the research priorities of the funding agency. Now, this time we have advertised what our priorities are, and then identify the research question based on the priority, and then do a thorough literature search, identify your team, and develop the project objectives and identify what the study entails from discussions with your co-investigators and collaborators. If necessary for certain studies, you can conduct a pilot study with a small number of samples before you make the research proposal. There's a saying, failing to plan is planning to fail. So it is very essential that you plan your research project well before applying for the grant. I will just go through the major items of our competitive research grant application form briefly. I'm sure most of you must have gone through the application. This is the front page of the application. We have a checklist. So before you submit the application, make sure that all these checklist items are there in your application. Then the project title, this gives the first impression, and it has to clearly indicate what you intend to do. It has to be concise, but not overly ambitious and not misleading. Also, it has to create curiosity and interest in the reader, because this is the first thing that a reviewer or the NSF, or the reviewers or committee members will first look at the project title. So it has to be able to create curiosity and interest in the reader. Then you have to include the details of your team. So the principal investigator, as I mentioned, has to have a research degree and has to be a permanent employee of a university or a research institution. And this time we have specially mentioned that we encourage both senior researchers as well as early career researchers. Here, early career researchers are who are less than 40 years of age and within 4 years after obtaining your postgraduate degree. So you have to include your details, and also in 100 words, you have to describe your research experience in the area of this proposed project. Then co-investigators, anybody can be co-investigators who have postgraduate qualifications and research experience supported by publications. Those who does not have postgraduate qualifications can come in as collaborators. Any other member of the research group who does not meet the criteria for co-investigators and as co-investigators, and also foreign scientists can be listed as collaborators. The collaborators have to send a separate letter, signed letter saying that they are willing to be collaborators of your project. The format is given as an annex in our application. And if you have industry collaborators, there's a separate annexure where you have to fill in and send, which asks about the contribution of the industry collaborators, either through funds or whether they provide any other facilities. Then we ask about the research problem. You have to describe the research problem and give a small analysis of the problem, like provide a background and a justification why you are looking at this problem. And then another important one is a literature review. You have to provide a comprehensive review and you have to include the international as well as local literature, including recent publications. Also, do not forget to include the reference list, because we see sometimes the review is there, but the list is not there. Then innovativeness, we are asked you to briefly describe what is original or innovative in your proposed project, but make sure that you don't omit any references and say that this is the first time that is being done, because anyway the reviewers will see that you have lied in your application if you do so. Then we come to the objectives. You have to provide the overall aim. That is a broad statement indicating the general purpose of your research project. And then the specific objectives. These have to be very specific and indicate the scope and depth of your project. And it has to be SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This is just an example of a rejected application where look at the specific objectives. It's like a description and giving so many things. This is not a very good specific objective. So make sure that you give very brief and concise, but exactly say what you're going to achieve. Then we have to describe the output of your project. The expected outputs in terms of your research work. You have to state the deliverables expected to be achieved at the end of the project. However, here don't mention, we don't expect you to mention publish 2 papers or something like that, but you have to give the deliverables of the research work, what you expect to achieve. Then the expected outcomes. Here you have to state the significance of your research outputs for society and the country. And we ask again for a detail of the direct and indirect contributions of the project to the national economy. So you have to explain the outcome in terms of the impact to the society as well as the economy or the country. Next, we ask about the methodology. So, methodology, of course, you may not be willing to divulge all the information, but it has to be detailed enough to evaluate the scientific merit of the project. Otherwise, when the reviewers look at your application, they won't have enough details to evaluate the scientific merit. So you have to include such as the study design, the sample size calculations, then the study site, so on and so forth. Then you have to give the Gantt chart. So now here we have given a format for the Gantt chart, where for each specific objectives, you have to list down the activities and the timeline for those. And for each of the specific objectives or the activities, you can give the KPIs at the right-handmost column. This is a simple example of a Gantt chart. So you have to give the activities. This is just a simple thing. This is not what we expect from you. You have to give it under each specific objective, your activities. So something like this you have to send to us. And now we come to the budget. Now here, for first-time applicants, there's a restriction in the budget that is excluding the personal vote. The total of the other votes should be less than 3 million for first-time applicants. By first-time applicants, we mean those who have not obtained any grants before this. Not only from NSF, but if you have not handled any other grants, then you are considered as a first-timer. And the budget limit would be 3 million, excluding the personal vote. And we do not discourage co-funding. Therefore, here we ask whether the proposed project is currently being funded or whether you are planning to apply for funding from any other source. So you can mention here. And also in the next section, we ask for major equipment and other facilities available in your institutions. Now, some of you may be aware that we have a national instrument database. You can visit that through our website. There you have to, if the major equipment that you are planning to use in your project can be listed here, and also we would prefer that you register, you get the the institutional managers who are responsible to register this equipment in the NID, and you can request them to register. If the equipment is not registered already, you can request them to register it in our national instrument database, and if it is already registered, you can include the reference number in this here. Oops. Right. This is the summary budget table. Here there are different votes like personnel, equipment, consumables, sample analysis, statistical analysis, postgraduate registration fees, travel and subsistence, and miscellaneous. So you have to fill this, and then the next section is the justifications for each of the budget items. There you have to give breakdowns and justifications why you are asking for that particular vote, the reason that you need that much of funds for each of these votes. For equipment, there's a ceiling limit of 1 million. So any equipment that is less than 1 million rupees can be requested through the competitive research grant. If the equipment is costs more than 1 million, then you have to request it through our equipment grant scheme. It is not open now, but will be open in future. And this year it will be open. And there's for miscellaneous, there's a 10% limit. So of the total budget, the miscellaneous section should only be 10% of it. Funding is not provided for consultants, drivers, OT and subsistence, administrative costs, payments for thesis defense panels, maintaining equipment. That has to be done by the institution. Contingencies or unforeseen expenses, computers and printers for routine work, travel abroad, registration fees for overseas conferences or seminars, or travel to NSF or the co-wise institutions for meetings, because travel is only for field work and advertisements. So these are some of the things that funding is not provided. Okay. Now you are done with your proposal, and you are presenting the researcher is presenting the proposal to the funding agency. Now, funding agency is not going to accept your proposal as it is. They will have to review. So there's a review process. So this is the review process at NSF. So there are several steps for the review process. First, there will be a preliminary screening, then expert review, working committee review, research advisory committee review, and then the board of management approval. So in preliminary screening, these are the criteria that your application will be looked at. So whether your application is according to our given format and guide, whether it has followed the guidelines given, whether the PI and the co-investigators are eligible, and whether all the signatures of all investigators are there, and whether the application is forwarded through the proper channels. If it is a university, it has to come through the head dean and vice chancellor. So now we don't expect you to submit hard copies of your applications, but then once you complete your application, you can take a printout of it and get the signatures and scan the pages and email to us. And then some other criteria that we look at are whether it is under the priority areas given, whether the literature review and reference list is there, whether all these other checklist items are given in your application, and whether the budget that you have totaled the budget, because sometimes we see some applications coming without even totaling the budget, and whether it's according to the budgetary guidelines that we have given, because for personnel also there are certain guidelines that we have given. It's all in the application. Whether, as I told you, whether for first time applicants, whether you have adhere to the budget limit, and whether the calculations are correct, and whether you have given justification for each of the votes that you are requesting from us. Other criteria might be whether it is a current government or NSF priority, whether that is when funding is limited, we might look at other criteria. Then once it goes through the preliminary review, it goes to the expert review. And this is a double-blind review process. So each application will be reviewed by 2 experts. We also give you the we also give you the ability to indicate any persons that you think should not review the project for reasons of conflict. You can mention if you have any concerns. Then at the expert review, these are some of the things that the experts will look at. First, they will look at the title of the project. As I mentioned these things earlier also. And then they will look at the research problem, whether you have analyzed the problem, and then whether the literature survey is there, whether it is original or innovative. These will be looked at by the experts. And also the scientific merit. For the scientific merit, they will look whether your objectives are clear and relevant, whether the methodology is suitable to achieve those objectives, and whether your experimental design and data analysis and statistical analysis is suitable, and they will also look at the overall scientific merit of the proposal. Under feasibility, they will look at whether the human resources to carry out the project is enough, and whether the time allocated to carry out the project, the physical resources available for the project, whether all these are adequate to carry out your to achieve the proposed objectives, and whether there are any additional expertise or collaborations needed for the success of the project. Then they look at the feasibility of the action plan. So they will look at the Gantt chart to look whether you have included all the activities and whether the given timelines are relevant. And they will also comment on the overall feasibility, that is the probability of achieving the proposed outputs against the stated indicators within the stipulated time. So if there are any ethical considerations, we expect you to obtain ethical clearance. And then whether the budget is adequate or whether you have requested excessive budget, or whether the justification for the requested budget items are given. And then they will also look at the output and outcomes of your project. So once the experts have reviewed the applications, they go to the working committees. And here also there's a review happening. So at NSF, we have 7 working committees under these disciplines. And at the working committee level, they will look at the comments of the 2 external reviewers. As I told you, there will be 2 reviewers per each application. So they will look at the comments of the reviewers on the project. And then they will also look at the title of the project. And they will look at the project team, the general and specific objectives, deliverables, and the budget. These items also the working committee will review. And the ones I have put in blue, methodology and Gantt chart, they will generally not look at those because they have been looked at in detail by the external reviewers. But if they have any problem, or they have any concerns, they will go back and look at them also. So once the working committee, it goes through the working committee, their recommendations go to the next level. Also, they will look at the output and outcome, the potential scientific, economic, and societal impact of your research results, and whether there's a potential for transfer of knowledge or commercialization. or whether there's potential contribution to public policies or the sustainable development goals. So these will be looked at by the working committees in their review. And once that is done, it goes to the research committees. The research committee will mainly look at these ones. Now, once the working committees recommend the proposal, they will look at the title of the project, they will look at the project team and maybe the budget, but they will mainly look at the national importance of the output and outcome. The ones in blue, as I mentioned, they generally don't go into detail, but if they need, they might go back and look at those. So the research committee would look at the national importance of the output and outcome, and accordingly they will prioritize. So now from all the working committees, it comes here to the research committee. So they will prioritize the projects coming from all different working committees and recommend to the board of management. So the board of management will give the final approval. They will look at the national importance of the output and outcome, and also whether there's value for money, and then they will give approval to award the grant. So in summary, you have to find out the priority areas of the funding agency. Then you have to check the guidelines, check the formats, keep to the deadline, because we do not accept applications that you have submitted after the deadline, and see that you have attached all additional information that we have requested. Again, if we talk about what constitutes a good research proposal, you have to establish that the need of this proposed research. So you have to clearly establish the need of your research. Then your objectives have to be clear and achievable, and your methodology has to be aligned with the objectives, and the budget has to be aligned with the methodology. Feasibility has to be clearly shown. Then you have to adhere to the given format, and your outcomes have to be defined properly. Identified and mapped properly. That's it. Thank you. And if you have any queries, I think we will take all questions at the end of the program once all the presentations are done. So next, I would like to invite Engineer Mahesh Disanayake, Head of the Research Division, to talk about the role of NSF in enhancing national RDI landscape.
So thank you very much, Dr. Ino Kasandanayake. Very good afternoon to all. This is Mahesh Disanayake, Head Research, Technical Development and Innovation Division of the National Science Foundation. So I will briefly discuss with you how NSF is in the research, development and innovation ecosystem of the country. National Science Foundation has major two objectives. One is strengthening the research, development, and innovation ecosystem, and secondly is promoting science and science education, popularizing science and promoting science education. So before moving to my presentation, so I would like to share this screen with you. You can see some statistics are there. So how those statistics affect to development of the any countries. So we basically we know scientific and technological advancement is a significant driver for economic growth of any nation. So with this statistics, we can see that one. For example, if it is Sri Lanka, so our R&D expenditure at the moment is 0.1 from our GDP, and at the present, our full-time equivalent researchers in R&D per million people is a 97. So if you see the total R&D workforce in the country is nearly 6,269. If it is a full-time equivalent, it is just like 2,151. So that is a very small crowd of researchers in the country. So we always respect to you as a researcher and do the contribution to our country. So National Science Foundation, we have different programs and 35 different programs. We are strengthening the RDI ecosystem, research, development, and innovation ecosystem. So in that ecosystem, we plan this program to support the individual level. So if it is an individual researcher, if we need training, that means a short-term training, long-term training like a capacity building, PhD, MPhil. So we have programs, and then innovation and entrepreneurships, we have programs. And also, if someone want to participate some workshops, we have a conference, we have some grant scheme there. If someone need to publication, so we have some publication support grant scheme. So if someone need to access some information, R&D information, we have some R&D information access to individual person. And if someone want, we will admire and we will recognize the excellence, research excellence and innovation excellence of an individual person. So if we think about the individual person, A to Z, if he is a researcher, A to Z, we will support to him. If it is institutional level, then also we will support them as a funding for R&D activities. So we have a different grant scheme. So today we have discussed only one grant scheme, that is the computer research grant scheme. And if the institute want to develop the infrastructure, research infrastructure, so we have a separate grant scheme for that one. And then institution need to have a conference, so we have a conference grant also. And then they also have some access facility to NSF, and also we can give a visibility to online visibility to others activities through our online platforms. And also we have two journals in NSF, so we can have some institutional publication that is after discussion with the management. And also if you see the national level, so we have we are doing national R&D survey, so where we can see what is the present status of the country in R&D RDI sector, in terms of RDI sector. And also we have global regional collaboration to support our researchers. And then we have global networks. That means we are the member of some institutions in the global R&D institution, and also the global S&T institution. So any researcher want to contact them, so we can support them. And also we have a different digital platforms. Anyone can join that one, like global digital platform, National Instrument Database, and STMIS, that is also available. And also so we are doing a special research program at national level with your support. So when we come to the research and development and innovation, so we facilitate and support for in different aspects, 6 different aspects. That is actually R&D one. So we have out of 35 program, 14 programs are supporting for this RDI activities, research development and innovation activities. So we support basic and applied research, capacity building of R&D workforce, research infrastructure development, innovation and entrepreneurship, recognition of research and innovative excellence, and networking and partnership. So we facilitate and support these 6 activities through our different 14 programs. So if it is basic and applied research, so we have a compared research grant, what we have already open now, and then we have a gap filling research grant. That is a closed one, it's not an open one, but only for those who have NSF research grant, and if they have completed that grant successfully, we will invite them to do the gap filling research grant. So that is a closed one, only based on invitation. And then we have International Collaborative Research Program, ICRP. So recently we closed ICRP on NSF Sri Lanka and NSF China. So that is there. And also we are going to open another ICRP open call next year. In ICRP program, International Collaborative Research Program, we expect internal collaboration, international level knowledge and technology sharing, resource sharing, and also we believe that it will improve our researchers' knowledge and having a networking with the other international fellows of their similar capacity and like-minded people. So that is ICRP program. And then we have partnership for SME development. So that is also new grant, as mentioned our DG. This is in the previous one, we have to have an international collaborator. So that is a mandatory partner. So you have to have an internal collaborator with sign MOU with them. And the partnership for SME development, that is also, there is a mandatory partner, that is the industry, whether small, medium enterprises or some industries, there should be some industry partner. That is a mandatory part. And we expect to do some research for the industry. So that is our expectation. So that is also networking. That is, we believe university, industry, and government. So this 3 people partnership in one program and having a good output for the industry level. And then we have a client-funded contract research program. So that is for the those who require research programs, and if they don't have a research capacity, they can contact us. So that is there. And then transdisciplinary mission-oriented research program. We are going to open this one soon on T-Research. This is a mission-oriented research program. So this year, our target is T-sector. So we expected transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary approaches, and also co-creation. That means not only single discipline, multidiscipline. So they will work, and also not only the academic and non-academic people. So they will get together, they will build a team, and they will find a solution to the problems of T-sector. So that is also most probably we will open in March, that one. So that is also another research program. So all these are basic and applied research programs. We expected different output from these programs. And then capacity building of R&D workforce. So we have a research scholarship program. So we are going to open it in March. So that in that one, actually, we always try to build up our research workshop. As I mentioned, now we don't have more researchers in the country. We need to increase the number of researchers in the country. We need to increase the interest of research in the country. So we given a research scholarship grant for MPhil and PhD students, those who are doing full-time research, who are planning to do the full-time research. And also we have a postdoctoral research fellowship. This is already open one. So if someone has recently completed their PhD and waiting for a job, or they can apply for a postdoctoral research fellowship. In that case also, we try to motivate them. Their time, their skill to do something to the country through this research program. So they can apply that one. This is a 2-year program, so they can apply that one. During that time, we will give some stipend to the researcher also. And then we have a research infrastructure development program. So as I mentioned earlier, research equipment grant scheme is there. So under that one, we can give you, if you require some research equipment, we can support this one. So in our competitive research grant scheme also, we are supporting for research equipment up to some extent. But if you need beyond that level, that means in research grant scheme, I think it's nearly 1 million equipment are given. Nearly 1 million equipment are given. If it's a more, the ceiling is there. If it's more than 1 million, so you can apply through the research equipment grant scheme. And also we have spare parts for research equipment grant scheme also. That is, if you have a research equipment and they have not function well, maybe due to some spare parts, so they need some repair, so you can apply for our spare parts for research equipment grant scheme. So those two grants in totally we target improving the research infrastructure of the research institute. And also already we have developed national instrument database, so all the research equipment available in universities and research institute, so we are promoting to register in our database. So then we can see all the research infrastructure availability in the country through this grant, through this platform. And also, if you wish to apply for these two grant scheme, so whatever the research equipment with your department or with your university, so you need to first registered in NID. So then we will consider those applicant for research equipment grant scheme and spare part grant scheme. So that is there. And then innovation and entrepreneurship. That is because one step ahead your research, because once we complete the research, sometimes we have good output. Maybe it may be a product, it may be a process, it may be a service oriented findings, some discovery. So if you need to develop that technology, some beyond that level, beyond lab level, so we have support for technology development grant scheme. That is totally support for the development of technology. So if you think about the TRL level, that technology readiness level, if the grant output is nearly TR level 4, that means just complete the lab scale and have some model type product or some process or service type finding, so we can support through our technology development grant scheme. So anyone can apply for that one. So, and also we have a support for startup based on novel technology. That is actually, if you think about the research and development, so today's context, we are always talking about the commercialization. So commercialization is now mandatory because we have a limited funds, so we need to invest those limited funds to the basic research, applied research, technology development, and ultimately we expect some part of those research and technology development will go to the commercialization. Then commercialization have two aspects or two parts. One thing is commercialize our findings through our own business. So that is called startups. So if you willing to that one, you can give that one to the some other business. So that is a licensing. So we support startup business based on the novel technology. So if you have a novel technology, you plan to start your own business, so we can support you to start a business. So if you supposed to have a joint venture with some other person and going to start your startup, then also we can support to your startup. So that is, it may be a startup, it may be a scale up, it may be a what is called some other mode. So we can support you. So that is also two grant schemes. That is especially targeting innovation and entrepreneurship. And then a recognition of research and innovation excellence. So that is also one part, as I mentioned you early, because we have a limited researchers. We always admire their work and we always respect to them. And because of that, we have a NSF Research Award and Technology Award. So those who have successfully complete our NSF research project or technology project, we will select them and we will give some award to them in a national level awarding ceremony. And also we have a support scheme for supervision of research degrees. So that is also one thing, because so we know we have a limited researchers, so we need supervisors, support of supervisors. That means our senior people, those who are expert in the research, so they will support to our young researchers or budding researchers to their complete their MPhil or PhDs. That means that there is a given research training. So we will admire their work, and we will select best supervisors, and we will award them a Sustrate Award annually in a national level award ceremony. So these two schemes are basically recognize our researchers' excellence, because we know in other fields there's a lot of recognition programs are there, but in research we need to recognize the researchers, because we know there is no development in the country without R&D sector development. So that's why we always recognize your task, because sometimes you may be academia in the university, sometimes you may be a researcher in the research institute, but you have some other task. If it is academia, you have a teaching and then research. So still you sacrifice some of your good time for the research. So we have always admire and recognize your contribution to the country. So our stakeholders, all state and non-state universities, higher education institute, R&D institutes, state and non-state organization, industries and MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises, individuals or inventors. So even if there is an inventor, he can apply for a technology grant. So he can apply for our startup grant. So anyone can apply for our grants. That is totally open for all people in RDI sector. So, and I just want to mention this part also. If you are a state sector applicant, we are giving 100% grant to you. But if you are coming from non-state sector, university maybe, industry maybe, so then we have some formula. That is 50-70%. That means you have to give minimum 30% from your side. So we are giving maximum 70% from our side, minimum 50%, but maximum 70%. So rest of the part you have to bear, even in the individual also. So if it is a individual person, we will give maximum 70%. So they have to give minimum 30%. So that is after negotiation we can decide what is the exact percentage. But up to maximum 70% we can support if it is individual or non-state sector applicant. So we are welcome them also. And when we think about the R&D sector, so I think you also know that there is if you think about the our policymakers or administrators, maybe in the ministries or maybe in the treasuries, they always say that what R&D people have done to the country, what our researchers are doing to the country. So they have not value properly the things done by the R&D people. So there's two things there. One thing is that actually we are doing R&D works and we are end up with the publication. So we have not go beyond the publication, because publication means knowledge creation. But we have to go beyond the knowledge creation, because knowledge creation is not enough, but we need to go for a wealth creation also. Then only we can contribute to the country. So that in that case, actually, we have seen three missing elements. One is the lack of research continuation. So once time you will do the basic research or applied research, and end of the day you will publish the paper, and then you will sometimes close the research. You will not continue that one. So that's why actually we have initiated gap filling research grant also. So if you are completed your research grant in a successful manner with good output, so we will support you. We will invite you to do the research again, to go beyond that level. So that is a continuation of research. We always, and then lack of participant research. That is also because industry in the one side, university in the one side. Then in triple helix model, industry, university, and government. So all these three institutions should be get together, and we need to do the research. Then only we will have a good output from the research. For example, now even if you see the total investment today, so we have 0.1% from the GDP. Out of that 0.1% also, 40% funds are coming from the private sector. So they are also doing a lot of research. Even government sector, universities, we are doing less than that. But if we get together, we have a collaboration, we have partnerships, and then we make some networking. So if we do that part, so we can increase our research outputs, and they will go for outcomes and impacts, not limited to the knowledge creation, but go beyond that level and create a wealth. Maybe it may support to the industries, it may be support to the institutions, like that. So we always promote partnership, because that is also missing element. So that's why in our ICRP grant scheme, we promote international collaboration. If it is a partnership or SME grant scheme, we promote industry partnership. So likewise, we always promote partnership. Even we promote, if you are from the University of Peradeniya, we promote, you have to have some link it with the University of Moratuwa. If you are from the science department, science faculty, we are promote you to have some project with the medical faculty or engineering faculty or any other faculty. So likewise, we always promote that one. And lack of effective technology transfer. Even though we have a lot of technologies found during our research, some technology findings are there, it will not go to the required people. Maybe industry, maybe general public, maybe policymakers or decision makers. It will not go to there. So we initiated research into practice program. So that is also, once you completed your research program successfully, so we initiate this one to transfer your technology to the respective stakeholders. And hence, we have introduced a lab to market model. Lab to market model means it's a pathway for researchers, innovators, technopreneurs, micro or small or medium enterprises, and aspiring entrepreneurs to move their ideas from lab to market and society. So that is there. So we have mapped all our research grant scheme in the TRL scale. I think you all know TRL, technology readiness level, that gives us maturity of technology. For example, TR level 1 means it's the initial step of the technology, but TR level 9 means it's a mature technology. So mature technology means if we have a mature technology, next day we can apply that one. That just like ready to serve technology, ready to serve product. So we can just apply in the industry, or we just can use that one. So we have mapped that one. So we have a basic research, that means TRL 1 to 2. And then we have a mission-oriented research program. We have categorized that one. So TRL 3 to 6. So we expect that one you will start from TRL 3 and end up with the TRL 6, at least 4 in between that one. And then technology development, that is a TRL 6 to 8. So that is there. And then research-based startup or business means a TRL 8-9. So if your product is TRL 8 to 9 means it's almost completed one. Then they are ready to commercialize. And then 9 is a commercialization program. So we have in future we will start some licensing and commercialization programs also to fund that one. And also you can see later part that initial programs better to have industries. So we are not mandatory industries, better to have industries, because that if we always try to practice triple helix model, but if it is above the TRL 5 and 9, PRL try to 9, then we mandatory industry collaboration, and also either industry collaboration or business proposal. So we have mandatory that one. So we have mapped this scheme in the TRL level, that if one can take a basic research grant, if he completed that basic research grant, he can apply for a mission-oriented research grant. So then we will give that one. gap filling or any other grant. And if he completed that one, so we will invite him to do the technology development grant scheme. So then he can apply for our startup, so commercialization, licensing and commercialization grant scheme. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe some series of grant you can apply for us, and you can end up with your research finding in the commercialization level. So that's what we expected. And from this one, you can see we always promote research, innovation, and enterprise. We need research, we need to innovation, and then end up with the enterprise. Then only wealth creation is happen. You can see here, if we have a researcher, he will do research. Researcher means we invest money to the researcher. So we invest money to the researcher, then he will do the research. What is his output? Is a knowledge, know-how, copyright, patents, designs. We invest to researcher, he will make a knowledge, copyright, patent, design. So that is a knowledge creation. So that part is there. But if we invest in innovation and enterprise, means a business person, he will use that knowledge, he will use that technologies, and he will use that designs, and he will make a product, process, or service that will be used by the customer, that will be used by the general public, so that will be used in the industries. So then they will create a wealth. Wealth means it may be new job creation, it may be some other policy creation for the country's development. So whatever it is, so it will support to the wealth creation. The part of that wealth, again, we will invest in the research. So that is the lab to market cycle. So if you do not practice this cycle, so we will end up always with the knowledge creation, and we will not go to the wealth creation. At the end of the day, as the treasury or maybe ministries, they will say that so we are pale, or researchers are pale. They will just we invest money to the researchers, but there is no any outcome or impact to the country. There is output, they are definitely, but it will go. It should be go to the outcome and the impact. Then we need to complete this cycle. So researchers, as I mentioned earlier, they can start their research at any level. Even if we have a good invention, so they can start even in the TR level for 5 like that. So they can complete, end up with the TRL 9, and we can have a commercialization. So we will support our researchers from TR level 1 to TRL 9 in each steps to complete your research findings, start from the basic research to the end up with the commercialization. So that is about how National Science Foundation support our researchers, R&D workforce to develop their career. One thing, and how we support to do their research, and how we support to improve their research infrastructure, and how we admire your work, how we recognize your work. That one. So at the end, we always like to support you, like to facilitate you, so you can contact NSF at any time. So we are here to support you. So before wind up my presentation, I will just give some notice. One thing is postdoctoral research fellowship 2025. That is already open now. So if there is interested person, they can apply that one. That is available in our website. So this is open throughout the year. We will process quarterly. So if one interested, they can apply that one. And then we have another grant called already open, that one. That is a support for technology development, that means TechD grant scheme. And another thing is the support for startup-based novel technology. There is a startup grant scheme. This is also open throughout the year, but processed in 3 windows. The first window was in 20th January. It is already closed. And our next window is on 20th May 2025. Now it is already open. If someone interested, they can apply for this grant scheme. So these 2 grant schemes already open, apart from our computer research grant scheme, where we are going to close on 14th February. And also we are very shortly we will advertise transdisciplinary mission oriented research program that is actually invited to research and innovation project for T sector. So that is shortly we will invite open the grant call that one. And then we have NSF research scholarship, so 2025. So again we are going to open that one also in the March this year, so very soon. If someone interested to apply for the research scholarship, so we have some guidelines, eligibility criteria available here, so they can refer and they can get ready for that one also. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. Again, what I want to express to you to that we are always here to support our R&D research and development staff in our universities, research institute, and also inventors, innovators in our society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Mahesh. Now we move on to the final presentation, which is on designing impactful research proposals for economic growth. And the presentation will be done by the Chairman of National Science Foundation, Professor Saman Senavira.
Thank you, Inoka. Just give me a couple of minutes to get my presentation shared. So, Dr. Inoka, can you see the presentation clearly?
Yes, sir.
It's okay, no? It's in a presenter view. The view is correct one, no? Correct version. Is that right?
Sorry,
Hello?
sir. Yeah.
The view is right. It's in right mode, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it's again, I missed the first part of the presentation, and I was here for last two. And sorry, I could not join. I had another urgent meeting to attend, and so my little bit of I'm coming from I'm not going to go into the detailed structure of our NSF grant systems and so on, but I'm going to share a little bit of my own experience with you people to write a very successful grant proposal simply because of I being here in the Sri Lankan system nearly 4-5 years, and also work and also successful in NRC, NSF, and few other treasury grants as well. And also internationally, I was able to get some very competitive grants and like in Australia and US, etc. So those I want to share with you some of the things I see, and I also see in the as a reviewer I work. I also submit a grant proposal into this system, and what we can do to increase your success rate and to put a really competitive grant proposal. I haven't prepared like a very structured. The presentation because I was asked to talk to you 30 minutes, and briefly I will take you through. And so Mr. Mahesh pointed out, like we have the granting, the range of grant system. You can start from the scratch. If you're a beginner, you can start from the small the grant systems, and also you can come to the discovery type of grants like that we have already advertised, and there are a range of the system. And also the new grants will be shortly we plan to advertise is a kind of mega grants, and like we are looking for large projects that you require to get into the commercialization. Actually, we want to see the big impact in the economy of the country type of grants. Actually, we were able to secure some money for this thing, and we are also very happy to, if you people can justify this thing, happy to to get this grant system also on board with NSF. So this is I hope you have listened to all type of grants we have, and this is the latest one that we will advertise shortly. And again, as said, like we were this year we got the highest the amount of money for the grants, and so like nearly maybe our budget is like a triple than the last few years, and it means that there may be more opportunities for you for the granting opportunities. So the whole thing, what I want to share with you is the writing process is very important. Like if you do not write a good application, so is the success rate is very, very rare. Even anywhere else is a same story. So for us, the situation also becoming same, like our the grants also, the success rate is very less, and we see the lot of the quality issues, but extremely good application we get here, and equally we get a little bit of the weak application. I think what I see is my experience. If you really want to get this grant, if you do your homework right, you can get it. This is what I see, because what few application I submitted, some areas like I didn't have a lot of experience, but still I was able to get it because we did all the right whatever the process is right. So this is the message I want to share with you, and the from the again, like the writing the application and submission process also equally important, and you need to follow the exact the instructions given in the submission process. And we, as Dr. Inauka point out, there will be a strong peer review process, and so we sent it to the experts, and even like in the future maybe we may look at, like there is the discussion around, like we get opinion from a third party as well, like a two, like right now we are looking at getting a review from 2 reviewers, but in the future there may be possibility of looking for 3 reviewers, perhaps internationally, because we want to be fair as much as possible. And the final approval by as is like it's a whole process. We get TRIPO for the stage of the review, and also endorsement, the final endorsement coming from the NSF board of management, and so we have a really good team, and they very multidisciplinary team, and very I'm sure that one you will get a very fair judgment if you submit a good application. Um, as I said, the criteria you need to fulfill is the research excellence, and the excellent you need to have a top application. The top application, to be top application, you also need to have the that it should contain a significant amount of the social impact and economical impact and also scientific impact. That three things will be recognized as a major, and also the team should be a really equally strong team. Like you should have the whatever the team you use need to have a right track records of the for that specific discipline. And again, young investigators can join, and we also looking at so to recognize those people and get into the like the application as initially can be as a co-investigator, and then if they don't have a very strong track record, then they can gradually build their track record, and later on they become the principal investigator. And the we also looking at the project feasibility. Like for example, you applying for a university, perhaps you're submitting from an institute. Doesn't matter, but you need to justify the resources what you have to to deliver this particular project, the particular project you apply. For example, let's say science project. So you need to have all the equipments that required, and if you don't have a particular equipment, you need to you should be able to justify that equipment is required to do this projects, etc. So this for like components should be really uh, correct. When you're submitting when you draft, when you write an application, so you need to work around to get this thing right. If you're anybody interested in a submitting application, so I'm sure that I have seen some application is just write something and submit within maybe 1 month or so. So is very highly unlikely if the quality is weak, if you don't have a real content, and if you don't have a real team, if you don't have really infrastructure, is just a kind of a bit of wasting time. And so for this one, my advice is you can definitely get quite easily, you can get this grant proposals like anything. If you work around, if you work hard, if you build the team, if you write the right proposal, if you build your clean argument, if you and also with the feasibility, and if you do the economic impact assessment. So the process, you all know, like we have discussed already, is the working. You need to first thing is a rigorous literature review, and then need to define your problem statement, and develop the rationale and justification for the project, and setting up the objectives and the goals for the project, and then so on. So the whole project and then come into the budget space. So this, if you work around this thing, is quite easy to build. You write a very impactful grant proposal, and so again, what I said is a submission. You need to submission deadline, and the word limits. There is a word limit, and the word limit also got to be, if it is 200 words abstract, is it got to be 200 word. It's not more than one word. Like more than, it should not be more than 200 words. And for example, in the future, we will develop an online actually submission system that will be very specific. You wouldn't be able to submit if the format is incorrect. That type of things. And also the formatting requirements. You need to do the correct formatting requirement. I have gone through a number of rejected the proposal, and there we see a lot of issues in the formatting of the references, formatting of the chemical formulas, and many things. So therefore, I think is a really, if you want to get the grant, you get it right. I think you really need to look at the time frame. For me, for example, if I write, I will take at least 3 4 months before the submission. If I want to submit another grant within the next 3 months, now I will start right now. So the time is very critical, and also you need to get the review process. You can talk to your colleague, you can talk to your collaborators, and ask their input to develop and improve the proposal. At least you need to go maybe 10 15 times up reviewing process, so then you will end up with a really good application. And the so when I will maybe I will be very specific for few areas of the writing process, and then you need to identify the broad interest area. Like I think I always suggest try to work initially in your own area that you have built your track record, and also you can get your colleagues and your co-workers to build and develop to do the initial sorry, just, the hypothesis and research question, etc. And also it's something, you should get something you like. If you don't like, it's no point of investing a lot of time and everything and to writing a proposal. It's always try to your interest area. And also, so it's better to do like the it should align with your department, your faculty, or like whatever the institute. So otherwise, if then you may not have resources. So you should be able to get your resources around as well. And also you need to look at the long-term potential of this project. Uh, Define it if the research question can be contribute to your career, and also to advancement of science, and also advancement of the national and international development. Those are the things you should always look at, and long term the potential of your research, the how it impact on your research career, and how it impact on the economy and socially of the country, etc. So when come to the evaluating research questions, is a so you need to do a big literature review, and also discuss with your colleagues and consider the current issues, and also you need to go back like a quite bit of far, and see the how literature work, and how what kind of discoveries have been made, and how what we can learn, and then and come up with your the your motivation to develop the major research questions. So those are the key things actually you need to work around, and also you need to align whether to address these things with your department, etc. This is the most important thing. So the then you also need to evaluate your resources, and especially the understand the level of the knowledge and the confidence in the topic. Those are the very important. Like I think if it is a young researcher, it's always good to be with a senior team. And if a young researcher want to apply a grant proposal, I think initially they should not go into directly into the brand new area. So they should really develop within his expertise. For example, if you take a young PhD graduate coming here, and you work in some, for example, plant biochemistry or something like that, but he should not go into area that's a totally different and apply a grant proposal. So then it is a very difficult to justify. But in that situation, is very good to that person. If you want to go, to a different area, but you need to work with a team, and you need to build your track records to apply and then you come as a later on in the principal investigator, and you can choose. You can change your field, but you have to do gradually. You need to start from um, being a co-investigator, and then you need to look at your time and also whether you can commit to this thing, and the materials and other components, other required material for the research project is available around you. And you can also the opportunities for the collaboration, and you need to identify external collaborators with the always with a complementary skill, and that can help, and that will increase the chance of receiving the project. And when come to uh, when consider the feasibility, and also you need to be realistic, objectives you need to set, and it should be achievable and within the resources, and within the time constraint you have speculated. These are the very important things when you're writing the proposal. And also you can discuss with your colleagues, and you can discuss engage with your team about whatever the proposal you're going to put forward, submit, and then so you can also you can look at the agency, what are the funding priorities. Is it like a time to time we change the funding priorities, and so you need to prepare your application, especially the funding priority areas. There is a large chance of receiving succeeding your application. And you also need to ensure that significant the contribution to this, whatever that you put, like the proposal contribution to the field, and also you need to justify the funding body as well. The funding body is in this case is a government money that we receive to work on the priority area. And also when together, like is a community engagement is a other part we look at, as I highlighted before. And how the project work, it can be fundamental research, it can be applied research, but how can these things goes into the community is very important to consider in the application. So and so when come to the literature part, you need to really refine the idea, and you need to bring to the dot that your proposal is very sharp and stronger. And then always once you draft the literature review, you need to revisit and make sure, as I said before, we need to clean, and the argument, your research questions should be very clear, and your objective should be very clear and transparent and interconnected, and it should be one single story. It should not be a multiple story. And so therefore so this is the very important part, and it should also address the knowledge gap. It should not be a repetition of what somebody has done, or like it should be whatever it is. It should be due for the literature. So and when come to the again the proposal that you should be narrowed down to your research question, right? So a well-defined question allow you to focus on a specific issue. So like I have seen a lot of grant application, and so the research question is not very focused, it's everywhere. So when those things, when the expert review, when look at, so from they don't go into the detailed thing, and they just from that point they say they refuse and they see as a negative thing, and the proposal they recognize as a no good proposal. And so and also you should not simplify things, like if there is a scientific argument and this is a scientific proposal and we need to justify, and you need to bring evidence with the science, not simplifying things would not also support to make a good the proposal. And so the feasibility is always looking at, and I'm just repeating again, the feasibility is very important, something that should be realistically deliverable and within the frame of the grants. And the hypothesis is overall, when you consider it, should be testable, and research questions should lead to the hypothesis that are measurable and actionable. So this is a key thing in the proposal. So when you go to, I'm not going to go in because I have a very limited time, and go into the formulating the hypothesis and the prediction. Your hypothesis should be logically follow the research question. This is something I have seen in many grant applications, and it's not logically not argued. The story is not cohesive. Is all the way, and make sure. That's why I say start from the 3-4 months back before and work. And when you do, we go through maybe 10-15 times, you will get the most sharpest document. There is a large chance of getting the grant succeed. And the hypothesis must be again testable, and it's nicely fit with the methodology, and justify the is a hypothesis is a strong predictor based on existing knowledge. This is, if you line up this way, I'm very sure that you should be in a correct line in writing a very successful grant application. So I will quickly go through. Because I don't have a lot of time, and so one more thing I want to come into the is the investigator, right? The investigator is one thing is a principal investigator. So when you submit a grant application, principal investigators should have a reasonably good track record, and the track record is is contribution to science, and understanding building the space, and also his contribution to society, his contribution to the economy of the country or globally. And global economy is very important. It's more than anything else. His scientific rigor is very important. And I want to touch few things where I see, the scientific, perhaps somebody may have feel that on it, you need to have a H index of 50 or 100 to apply this grant proposal. Not that case. If we show the leadership in that discipline is good enough. I will share with you one thing, which we will closely look at in the future. There may be a person who have 100 publication, maybe 100 in H index, and he doesn't have any leadership publication, either as a principal author or lead author. So he has not shown any leadership in that discipline. Is a very highly unlikely to justify us to have leadership in a scientific merit to run the project, because he has not run anything as a lead author or the principal author. This is this will in other part of the world this have adapted, and even I think it's a high time for us also to look at that one. Perhaps the young PhD or young scientists, they may not have 100 publication, but he may have maybe 10-15 publication. H index maybe 10, H index 10 or 15. But if he got his like a leadership uh, in this publication, for example, if say he got um, his 5 papers in the as a first author, and his 5 papers in the as a lead author, and also he got maybe a couple of publication in the middle. So his leadership is somehow over 50% of the leadership. It means that he is, he would not like a sideline by the we will take that factor as is a very important factor to pick young people also to take and lead this type of a grant application. So it is not really, we want to find a way, and we want to support the young dynamic research leaders to take over. But overall what we want to see a top application with the scientific vigor. And even you are young and you think like I'm not still good, like cannot apply for this one, like I don't have that high H index, but it doesn't matter. But if you have a really leadership with a good reasonable publication, please apply. And again, when you get the co-investigators on board, so you also look at the similar background, the grant, like a similar discipline, and also see their their contribution to the field, and all the scientific rigor, etc., and also the source contribution society, etc. So those are the thing. Your team should be really a strong team. Even if you put a PhD student into this one of this grant, and then you pick up the student with a high achieving student, like a bit of publication and things, then your case is really is very justified, quite in early stages. So therefore, this is some of the key things what we look at in the future. Um, uh, and again, when come to the finding the collaborators, try to find with the complementary skills. So, for example, I say, we have a project in a drug discovery project, but as a chief investigator got a really top the skills in all kind of discipline, but you need a good crystallographer, and we don't if it doesn't, team doesn't have, but his skill may be only in the crystallography, it doesn't matter, but it will give a complementary contribution for this one. And as long as if he has a reasonable track record, that will make we will look at in a very positive way. And so those are the key things actually, the in the process we're looking at. And the team CV, like a first thing you assemble the CV, get the CV and look at those key things, whether they have, then look at whether you can work together this with the skills, and also and continue this relationship. This is a relationship. If you cannot continue this way, it's very hard to deliver a good project. And what I have seen in some cases, like I've all repeatedly see that you have an excellent team put together, you got the grant, but when you're writing publication and things, they're not together. They even principal investigator do whatever they like, but they don't give any like recognition, the people who were there to put this grant together, and who were made this intellectual contribution, and not been really ignored, and he's run his own game. This should not happen. I think that whoever the team want to assemble you want to assemble right team, please find the right ideal people who can really respect, and ethically you can work together, and make the long lasting collaboration, and make the justification for the project. Not only that, the justification for the country, and also not only the countries, the rest of the world. And uh, uh, so again, what I other thing want to suggest is the write a concept paper when you all together, when done all the things is abstract. What is get the best shape? That's the concept, and so then you are in a really good position to shape up your proposal and to get everything in a right order. And then you cannot, what I have seen, the methodology is a methodology I see always is the experimental design is not clean, data collection method is vague. Vague. Don't let it happen. Like, get the right team and get right the experimental design, the methodologies, the data collection and sample preparation, sample analysis. Give the top description for this thing, the right details. Don't write just this method, this that method, but with a little bit of information. Very um, descriptive information should be provided to clean the methodology. That's very important. We always look at the methodology is whether it's directly connected to the your in addressing objectives and knowledge gap. If not, there is a then you will also see as a is a negative. And so then overall, then look at the feasibility whether we can do this one. And other component, what we have seen in the past in the statistics is not the way elaborated. This is also the way you collect the data, way you analyze the data, and the tools you use for the statistic, and how, for example, how we have social data and things, how you handle the missing data, etc., should be there. So those are the other the components you really need to work around, and then come to the sorry. Sorry. So budget, again, the budget should be on the top, and it should be is justified. Don't write any number you come into your mind. Make it to really. So we will come with the budget kind of a template. So then I'm sure that when we have it, and I think if we need, we will definitely share the budget template. Then for you is a very easy, and also we will help if you need to prepare the budget. The budget. So we will organize somebody from the NSF to support and the trained person to develop a budget proposal. So whatever the resources, what I want to say is available within us and also other places. So used to make a successful grant application. I'm 100% sure that one, if you work around, if you take a little bit earlier, you can make, because we have our success rate is quite low, and this is a whole world as well. But again, if you improve the quality of your grant application, there is a large chance of getting one of the grant. As we said, we have a range of grants, and so you can try any of this thing. This is you need to develop this master skills, and then what we want to see at the end of the whole thing, from the all grants, every grant, we need to see the scientific impact, and which is very important, and so we should see this advancement of knowledge, and also we want to see the contribution from for the existing literature, and interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary collaboration. So we need to connect all the discipline together, because the world had stopped now moving in a single discipline way. So now is a multidisciplinary, the platform, everything work. So so we strongly believe that if these projects are interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and so we can make a big contribution for this, for science as well as the economy of the country and the society. And therefore, I really encourage you people to think about your project in a broad and big picture to address the questions of the even narrow questions, but looking at the bigger holistic way. And then come to the economic side. Is other important area, like in the country is putting a lot of pressure on us. What they say is in a way is fair. Whatever they have put a little money into the R&D, that's I totally agree. But when you see from the R&D R&D contribution for national GDP is nearly $50 million. That is like our GDP is nearly getting close to $100 billion. But we believe there is a resources. We believe that we can definitely increase this number. So we should be able to, I think, so government think they want to invest this time, like they put more money, 3 times more than the previous years. That itself is not even is 1% at least. So we are right, maybe somewhere around 0.3%. This is why for us is somewhere around that amount. But putting this money is a very positive sign, and we need to make this as you need to use this as an opportunity to make a good R&D, good contribution for national economy, and the government aiming to get this one R&D income into at least 5% of the GDP in a long run. But they want to now slowly investing. And so this all with you, there is a lot of opportunities for jobs and a lot of opportunities for the economic growth and also the boosting local economy. And then when it comes to the social impact, is a we want to see all the communities well-being, and also the access to resources, and so improving, and the quality of life is improving, and all the stakeholders activity is improved, and local community and policymakers, and they ensure that the project address the real world need, and they promote the social inclusivity. Those are the things, or those we're expecting. And the capacity building. So is the next one. This overall and all together is a capacity building. And so therefore those are the big expectation, the big picture of thing. And like I also touched the nitty-gritty of the grant proposal should be like I asked to give this one within 30 minutes, and a very quickly I ran over. And then if you need, we can organize another day. We can discuss a little bit lengthy and take every component of the way to write grant proposal, and we can invite few others to from my expert from overseas as well to get the writing skill to prepare a good grant application. And so we are very happy to work with you, and we're very looking forward to see a good grant proposals, and we will have a little bit more money this time, and let's work together. So if you have anything, so you can be in touch with our old staff is ready to help, and so I will stop from here. If you need anything, and we can you can ask. I think Inoka, like you want to take over.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for the presentation. Now we can open the floor for any queries. I think some have raised in the chat box, and we have replied to some of those. But if you have any other questions, you can raise now.
So my Excuse me, my sharing folder is gone. Is it okay? Still with sharing mode?
No,
It's
no,
gone, no?
yeah.
No, it's gone. Can you show the last
Oh.
slide, please?
Yeah.
Contact information.
Can you see last slide? Is that?
No,
No.
he wants to see the last slide, sir.
So last slide is like I got something juggle here. Like it's my address. NSF address was the last slide.
Yeah, you can visit our website. It is
Yeah, you can visit. Yeah.
www.nsf.gov.lk.
Okay,
I
thank
will,
you.
yeah.
So I try to like share, like if it is the case. Hang on 1 minute.
I have posted the website in the chat box.
Yeah, okay. Maybe
You
that's
have
better.
any other questions? You can always contact us and get any further information.
I see if something happened there.
There's one question. Okay. If there are no questions, then we can conclude the session. I would like to thank the chairman of NSF, Professor Senavira, and Director General Dr. Sepalika Sudasinghe, and Engineer Mahesh Desanayaka, Head of the Research Division, for making the presentations and for facilitating this webinar. And also, I'd like to thank all the participants for participating in this webinar. We would be expecting some good proposals. The deadline for the competitive research grants is on 14th of February at 3 p.m. So submit your proposals before that. If you have any other questions along the way, you can always contact us. Thank you.